And here we are. Alright, I'm TigerHawk23 with more Python today. I just got back from the dentist, so I may sound a little funny. More than usual, anyway. Today, what is our plan for today? A label for the current click strength. That should be good. Scientific notation for number formatting. Extra clicks per click per building. So there's a couple more. Let's start with those. First, a label for the current click strength. Let's see what we'll do. Let me get a look at what we have actually. Okay. I think I will put it below the button. How about that? Actually, I will put it in the button text. How about that? Let me show you what I mean. Turn this on. I'll put it like right under here. How about that? Perfect. That's where I'll put it. I don't even have to make a new label widget or anything. So where am I going to update it? I will put it in. I will add. Okay, so it's right here. So every time I update, I think, this is where I will put it. I tell you what, I'm going to, instead of doing this and copy and paste down here, I'm not going to do that, because this is something that I actually plan on adding to sometimes. So here's what I'll do. I will use something called, I'll set it up first, and then I'll tell you what it is. No spoilers here, right? Click strength. So this is going to be this. And I'll return that. And know what I'm going to do here. Right over there. Oh my god. Stop. Over here. Thank you. Very good. Okay. Property. So what this does is it will allow me to call this click strength method without parentheses after. So it will look like it's just retrieving a primitive attribute and not calling anything, but actually it is calling something. What this does is it makes you actually unable to rebind this name to something else. So if I had it without this property, I could say self.clickStrength with no parentheses equals 3, and then it would be the number 3 instead of pointing to this method. Now when I have making it a property like this, I can do self.clickStrength with no parentheses equals 3 or whatever, and it won't work because I'm trying to assign something to a return value. So I can't reassign this. I guess if it returns something that itself can be reassigned. Actually, I don't know if that works at all. So anyway, making something a property means it's kind of stuck like that, and you're using it as an ordinary attribute, and the fact that it's a callable is hidden. So we will here do self.clickStrength and take out that. And so the benefit of this is that I don't have to recalculate click strength anywhere. I mean, the benefit of using a method at all is that I don't have to keep recalculating click strength all the time. I can just call this, and it will return the updated value instead of having to store it somewhere. So it's just recalculating it every time. And that's what I want. What was I doing in the first place? Label for current click strength. Okay. And every time I purchase... No. That's not what I was doing. Update. What is that button called? Is it the button, I believe? The button. Yeah. Self dot the button dot config text equals, and it's what? Click the button. Equals click the button with a new line and then something. Format. String. That's what I type a lot, string. And int. I have trouble writing input and instead. I write intput and instead. Yeah. Strength is the whatever. That's going to be self dot click strength. That's going to be the text. Close parenthesis. And all right. I will actually put this in over here. Strength is just going to be 1 initially, because it starts at 1. Okay, 1 change. Let's see what that does. Let me show you what we've got here. So we have strength 1. Strength 2. Let's buy some more. Clicking, etc. Click booster. Let's get a click booster. And now it's 4. And indeed, 4. So that was easy, right? Oh, I didn't need to do that. 8 and 16 and 32 and 64. How about now? 96. So we can keep buying these because they're very inexpensive. But it is quickly increasing, right? Maybe we should do other things in the game, right? That's the idea. And, you know, up goes the click strength. Thousands. Okay, great. Fantastic. We've got that. Label for the click strength. Easier than the scroll bar, huh? Yeah. Label for that. Okay, number formatting. Let's see. Sometimes we have, we're reconfiguring the click label and the per second label. Let's see. Here's what I'll do actually. Make this a space and this a new line. And space and new line. Okay. So right now I'm formatting like this. The current click label and the per second label are formatted as such, with current clicks and the per second. Let's see. Gear.quantity, current clicks again. Current clicks. Configure that, blah, blah, blah. Whenever I purchase something, it goes down, when I increment, it goes up, and I think that is it. Yes, that's all the formatting I do. So, let's do another property, shall we? So what I want is this format specifier with the comma separator is fine for smaller numbers, but once it gets to like 10 digits, 20 digits, it's going to be kind of annoying to see how much it is, because then it ends up being basically tally markers, and you have to count like, okay, this is thousands, millions, billions, trillions, quadrillions. Okay, quadrillions, right? So if it's this, if it's small enough, we're gonna have this. Make another property. Not this method, different one. Def specifier. Let's see what we've got. So if the number is small enough, we're going to use this comma separated specifier. If it's bigger than that, we will use scientific notation. And if it is larger than 10 to the 308, Python will not be able to fit it into a floating point value, because which matters because the format uses float, and this specification uses floats. That's how it is. So we're gonna have to think of something else right now. If self.current clicks is less than 10 to the 12 digits, let's do 15. That's fine. That's good. Return this if. Now you notice that I'm using if again and not elif. Of course, elif does if the previous if branch of the previous condition is not met, then the elif will occur, and if you just do another if, it'll check it regardless. So if you have a if x, do something, elif y, do something else, and then else. If x is true, then the elif will not happen. It will not be checked at all. But if you have an if, then it will be checked regardless of what x was. So this if would be checked regardless of what self.current clicks was, except that if it meets this condition, it's going to return anyway. It's not going to get to the if. So current clicks less than 10 to the 308. Return, and here's the format specifier for scientific notation. It is this, and then a dot, and we're going to specify the number of extra decimal places, like 1 that we're going to do will give us 1.6 e something, and if we used a 3 here, it would be, for example, 1.629 e whatever. So 0.1, if we use the lowercase e, it will do this with the lowercase e, and uppercase will do that. So that's cool. I want lowercase here. That's what I'm going to do. Else. No. I will have to mess with that if I want to do something else. I wonder if I can return an unformatted thing with the... I can. So it's just the scientific notation that breaks. Yeah. So scientific notation breaks if the number is too big. Isn't that fun? You would think it breaks for smaller ones, because I mean, if we're using it, maybe we have big numbers, maybe? Let's just do return. How about what I really should be doing is having the whole thing in here, not just the specifier. So here's what I'll do. Self.current clicks. Current clicks formatted. That's what I'll do. Cool. So we'll just do the formatting right here. Format this, and otherwise we're going to return something else. Let's see. How are we going to put that? Too big of a number. What we could do is cobble it together ourselves. I'll tell you what. We're going to subtract that 308. Yes. So we're going to do clicks equals self.current clicks minus 10 to the 308. And then we're going to be making our own little format thing. Not advised, but that's what we're going to do. Let's see. Clicks equals self.current clicks. Very good. So we've gotten a smaller number. And now we're going to format the smaller number equals 0.1e dot format self dot current clicks and how does this work? Got E plus whatever. Okay, we're going to split it on E plus. So base and I can't really do E plus. E plus, not E plus like this, no. E plus and size equals, actually it's just this, base and size equals current label dot split on E plus. So this is going to give us like 1.6 for the base and, you know, maybe 1 for the size, basically. The power. The power. You've got the power. Python power. Let's see now. How does this work with small numbers? Okay. size equals, we're going to change that to an int. We're going to add 308. And then we're going to return that's going to be the base e plus and the size dot format base size. Alrighty. It's going to be interesting testing that. So current clicks formatted. We will just hard code it for now. Let's look this over and check if it makes sense. If it's small enough, return this, just format it regularly. If it's actually, no, what am I doing? Don't need this else, because it's return, right? I can unindent all this level. So if it's small, return. If it's reasonably sized, at least, return that. And if we've gotten here, it means that neither of these was true. So we're going to subtract. Oh, no. That was wrong. We're going to subtract 10 to the 308 from the current clicks. And then we're going to try to make a little label with that number. Not try, we're going to make a temporary label. And that's going to be with the regular specifier, scientific notation that we'll want to use. And we're going to format the clicks into there. And then we're going to split it to get the base and the size, the power. And the size we're going to cast into an integer and add 308. And then we're going to return a formatted string with the base and the new size. All right. Current clicks formatted. Let's see. Actually, should this be a property? Because I have current clicks formatted in this manner and per second. Is per second going to be big? Probably. We should make this available for any number. Let's make this no longer a property. Self and number. 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 And number. There's going to be a lot of number. Would I be using this again? I don't think I was. I can just do number. Okay. Takes a number. If it's small, do this. If it's bigger, do that. Otherwise, it's too big. And we subtract (10 to the 308). And then we format the number with the label. That's just going to be, that's just label. That's just what it is. Label. I'm going to label that label as a label. We're going to format it, and then we're going to split it. And we're going to add 308. And then return. Okay. So this will give us a nice way to do numbers. For this, we want current clicks. And so we'll send that to self dot. Numberformatter. Self.current clicks. So this is going to be our special number formatting thing for big numbers. Cool. Where else are we formatting? That's current clicks again. Format, current clicks. And this one we want the per second. So we will change that as necessary. Alright. Make sure we have our parentheses all happy. We've got int of this. Send it to the formatter. Send it to the new configuration. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm testing it out. Doesn't seem problematic. Great. So it looks like things worked. Cool. Alright, what I'll do now is give it bigger numbers. Current clicks equals 10 to the 7. Alright. So now you can see that it puts the commas properly. Cool. Let's make it bigger. To the 12. Still good. Oh, you can't really see what I changed it to 12. That's all I'm doing. Now I'm going to change it to 15. And we have 1.0 E15. Cool. How about 300? I have just changed it to 300. Let's see what happens. 300. Happy times. How about 310? Broke. I failed something. Okay, let me show you that error. Take this out. Okay. Okay. Etc. Update. Config. Formatter. In the number formatter did something bad. Let's see what it did. Label equals 0.1e format number, and that sent current clicks, and it was too big. .1e dot format number minus equals, so I subtracted 10 to the 308 from the number. Or is that, do I have to divide by 10 to the 308? Exponents. I'm currently in a calculator. Oh, that's a big number. I think I have to divide. I have to divide. Oh boy. Boy howdy. I have to divide. There we go. All fixed. Let's try again. Yep. Let me show you the thing. 1.0 E plus 310. I feel silly that I forgot how to do exponents. But this is why you test things and learn to read error messages. let me show you that error message again. That traceback. Funny thing about tracebacks, they are so important that Python does not have tail call optimization. What is tail call optimization, and why don't we have it? Is that bad? Well, you've probably heard of recursion, which is generally a function that calls itself. And that's just a different way to repeat stuff. If you don't want to have a while or a for loop, you can send a function some value, and then the function changes that value and increments it in some direction and sends that new value to another execution of itself. And the number keeps getting incremented in some direction until it reaches a stopping condition, and then you've got your answer and it returns that. That's the general idea. Now, some languages and compilers allow you to, if you have a recursive function and the recursive call, say you've got the Fibonacci sequence and you've got a function for that, and you define it, and then you've got it doing some stuff, I don't know, and then at the very end, you have return, Fibonacci number -1, whatever. If you have the recursive call at the very end, it's the last thing, then the compiler will clean up, basically, the other calls of that function. So instead of saving the first one and the second one and just keeping track of everything, if it's the last call, it'll be like, well, you're not going to do anything in that function anymore. It was the last thing. So it kind of truncates it, takes it out. And that can be a good performance benefit if you're doing stuff with a whole lot of recursion. The problem is, if this is happening and it's really cool, and then you have a bug somewhere and it crashes, then you don't know what it was doing prior to the last execution of this function. That's called no stack trace. So the designer of Python, Guido van Rossum, decided that having a stack trace was better than tail call optimization. So Python doesn't do that. So if you get a crash somewhere, you will get a full traceback for anything. That is because tracebacks are very important, so you can debug more easily. So for this, I saw that in the error was first in the module, and then how far does this go? That's a little chopped off. Well, anyway. So it was in the module that I wrote, and then in the init, and then that called update, and then we went to update, and then it did self.currentClickLabel.config and tried to use the formatter, so it called that. And then in the Numberformatter function, we did label equals, with this format specifier, .1e.format number, and we got overflow error int too large to convert to float, which is the error that I was trying to avoid in the first place. So then I had to think, why is it still too big of a number? And that's when I realized that exponents don't work quite the way that I thought they did at that point. And then I remembered, oh yeah, gotta divide because it's the power, it's the exponent. So there you have it. Long rambling story. Divide instead of equals, and I'm using 2 slashes because I want an integer to guarantee that. In Python 2 and 3, 2 slashes guarantees integer division. In Python 2, using 1 slash means that you will also get integer division unless you are dividing something with a floating point number somewhere. In Python 3, using 1 slash will do integer division with integers, and it will do floating point division if necessary with integers. If you do 8/2, you will get 4 as an integer. But if you do 8 slash, let's get some easy number. If you do 9/2, 9 divided by 2 is 4.5, it'll do 4.5. In Python 2, you would get 4. This can be an interesting little problem when you get to smaller numbers, like 9 divided by 8, or no, if you get to numbers less than 1. So if you do 8 divided by 9 is 0.88888 repeating, right? In Python 2, that's 0. And that's a major cause of people going, why is this 0? 8 divided by 9 is not 0. But yes, it is, because Python 2. And that was fixed in Python 3. So if you divide regularly, like you're expecting it to do, it will do what you think it should do. If you really want integer division, like I did here, then there's // double slash. Alright. That's pretty good. I'm going to change this back to 0. What else do I want to do? Scientific notation. Okay, that was a little more involved, but it should handle larger numbers now. Actually, only up to 308. Let's do something else. While number more than 10 to the 308 quant equals 0. Quant. For a moment there, I wanted to do quant ++. I've learned JavaScript and Java and C and C++ back in the day, and this is the only thing I miss. This syntax is not available in Python. You can do ++, that means positive quant, but it is not an incrementer. Quant plus equal 1. And number divided by, that's what I already have over here. And we divide by 10 to the 308. So over here, we format the number and the base and the size. Aha. Plus 308 times quant. That should work. Because before that, when we got to 616, or 10 to the 616, it would fail again. We don't want that. So while the number is too big, it's going to say we've got one of those, and divide the number by this quantity. And once it's small enough, it'll stop doing that. And we format and split, etc. And then we have the end of the size, and we're going to add 308 times the number of times we divided the thing. That should work too. Let's change this value back. 10 to the 310. And I run, and it works. You can see that it works, etc. I'm going to close it and run it again with a bigger number. How about 510? 510 works. And how about 610? Remember, it's 616. That would have been an error. Error, flagrant error. 610, that's the number I specified. How about 710? 710 works very nicely. How about, I don't know how big of a number it will let me do depending on performance. Computing primes in a naive way can is one example of overloading your computer very easily. That is why generally when you do prime number things, you use a sieve of Eratosthenes. That's the way to do it. let's do 1,000, how about? And it's 1,000, so we can see about 10,000. Handles very large numbers. Yay. Okay. I'm very satisfied with that. If it gets too big, then we will ask the person, how many clicks do you have when that happened? What was the deal there? And it'll be like, all of them. All of the clicks, I had them. Infinite clicks. And it'll be like, that's why it's broken. Many clicks, handle it. I can't hold all these clicks. That would be a fun error message. There's an overflow error still in some way. The interpreter can't hold all these clicks, right? Anyway, so we've got that. That's looking good. So now it should handle arbitrarily large numbers with a nice little formatting dealy. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Hey, I've got an idea. Size. Let's do some recursion, shall we? Check this out. Numberformatter. Size. Yeah. What did we have previously? It was just straight up number, right? So we had 10,000. And now, if the power of 10 is too big, it'll format that nicely as well. That should be cool. That should be cool. 10,000. And we run. And, uh-oh. Just says 10,000. That's not right. What's going on with this? Numberformatter. Self.numberformatter size. This should have worked, but instead it says, oh, I forgot an important part. Do you see what I forgot? Before it was just 10,000, period. Well, not period, but that would be a floating point number. Yeah, you can specify floats by doing like 3 dot. You don't need the 0 afterward. Works perfectly. 1.0 E10, comma, 1000. Hooray! Cool. So that's neat. That's an example of recursion. So it's actually a pretty good example. It starts with a very large number, and then it makes it smaller in some way, and then it looks at part of it and says, is that one still too big? And if that one is still too big, then it will send it to another run of itself and format that one into something nicer. And if it's still too big, it'll keep doing that. The chances are very remote that you would need to do that, but recursion. It's not going to go. It's not going to go very far, but that's recursion for you. Yay. I demonstrated recursion. Okay. Do I have this back to 0? Yes? Okay. Let me save that. It's looking pretty good. Let's add an upgrade. Was that... Wow, I just spent 45 minutes formatting a number. Programming. But it's formatted real nice. Real nice formatting. So let's do extra clicks per click per building. This is going to be an upgrade of some kind with a gear. It's going to be expensive. Click booster, self.gear. What are we going to call it? What's it going to be? Piece of the action, because you gotta visit all your buildings and get a take for a piece of the action. How about a mobster? A little strange, but that's okay. Increase clicks based on number of buildings owned. No. Mobster. And the description is going to be in the tooltip. Yes. 0. With the, it's going to be a mobster to get a take from each building when you click. Single quote. And it's going to cost 5,000 clicks, which is basically nothing. And it will have a limit of also 5. I don't know. What other things can have? Started with quantity 0. Right. Name, description, tip, and cost. We have the name, description, the tip, and the cost. It doesn't have it per second. We started with the regular 0. The limit is 5 for this one. A multiplier? No, this isn't a thing that can have a multiplier, right? Yeah, that's a synergy. No, is it? Multiplier equals this one. Oh, that's the building that does the multiplying. Isn't it? Nope. Synergy, multiplier. Oh no, this is just the just upgrade the building. The basic doubles your noob clicking. That's all that does. That's the multiplier. So there's no multiplier. We're not going to upgrade our upgrade for now, unless we want to. Maybe later. It's not going to have any synergy. Okay, that's good. Limit is 5. Okay. So what are we going to do with this? We're going to have the mobster, and it's going to do this. And then it's going to be, maybe it'll need something else, something different. And this will be based on the clicks. Well, it'll be based on buildings, adding 2 clicks. So increment. And when you purchase this, okay. Oh, no. Right, we have one more, and we subtract the cost, and we do this, blah, blah, blah. Disabled it if necessary, otherwise no. And this is going to be in click strength. Right here. How many we have times the booster, and then it will be times, aren't we glad we have a property for this? Well, it doesn't have to be a property, we could just add parentheses and call it. But anyway, aren't we glad we have a method, a function to do this? So instead of having to update click strength everywhere, it's just going to be recalculated every time. Return the clicker quantity times that, the quantity of this, and then we will want the number of mobsters. Yeah, clicker, click booster, and now we do something with mobsters. So how about times self dot gear mobster times let's do the following. So I want to multiply by the number of buildings. Building dot quantity, and this is the sum of all the number of buildings I have. Building dot quantity for building in self dot gear dot values. I'm gonna make sure I'm consistent. Yeah. If they have a per second, because that's a building, something that has a per second. If building dot per second. Close that. So this okay. All right. Mobster times the number of buildings we have. So we're going to go through all the gear, and if it has a per second, we're gonna see how many we have of them, of that building, and add them all together. Very good. And so it's going to be, if we have 5 of one and 10 of another, it's going to be 15 times that, and this is supposed to be times some multiplier, maybe? I think that's fine. Isn't it? Yeah. That's probably good, right? I'm sure that'll work. If it needs to be bigger or smaller, I can modify the number. So this would be multiplying it by however many buildings I have. That could be a little too much, actually. Let's do times let's do the following. Int this times that times this times, there we go, times some of this times oh, what if this is 0? No, this isn't multiplication, is it? No. Plus this times this, plus amount of buildings I have, times mobsters. And then we need to close that. Okay. Extra spaces. Okay, this is good. Return an int of this is just to make sure that I have an integer, and also because I wanted parentheses, and this is more of a justification to use parentheses. So here we are. Self.gear is the number of clickers times the boosters, the exponent, plus, oh no, I have something backwards here, because this booster is supposed to boost the overall strength of it. So it's this. I'm going to cut this out. Oh, I missed something. Quantity plus, so the amount of clickers plus the mobsters times buildings times this. Because this is an overall booster. Okay, so this I would test by getting a building at some point. So it's going to be over here. So it's going to take the clickers and it's going to add the mobsters times the number of buildings. And then it's going to multiply that by the booster. Okay? Okay. Let's see if it crashes. Hopefully not. It did. In click strength. It's the thing I just did. Okay. Let me show you that error. Unsupported operand types for multiplication, gear, and int. Well, where did I do multiplication? I did it right here. No, I did it right here. Dot quantity. There we go. Cool. Thanks, Traceback. Alright, so I will need to buy some things. Definitely need to do that. Mm-hmm. 9 and 10. And then I will buy one building. My click strength is 10. I should probably say what these numbers are. Like, this is current clicks, because I have strength here, and I have current clicks, and I have, let me change that right now, actually. Where the heck do I do that? I will not do that right now. I will do it later. Let's see what I've got. So I have one building. I have no boosters. This will take a long time to get to 5,000 won't it? And maybe I shouldn't have made it so expensive. I will get a multiplier. So from 10 to 20 to 40. That's better. So I will have 10 clicks per click, and I have one building, and I will buy one mobster. So that should add 1 to my base clicks before the multiplier. So it's going to be 10, then it's going to be 11 times 4. It should be 44. It is 44. Because I did the math right. Yay! That's pretty cool. Let's it should now be 10. That's the base, and then 1 times 1 should be 2. So that'll be 12 times 4 should be 48 next. 48. And then 52, I guess. Yeah. So I can increase my click strength like this as well. Yay. And since I have most of the power from buildings, it is efficient to get this from 108. Did I limit it? Oh, no, this is the wrong, that's the wrong one. It was this one. 108 should be very large. 176. Big increase. And I only have 2 multiplicative click boosters. And this is just from buying noobs. They're not very good at clicking, but they try. They try very hard. I'm at 244 now. 312. 380. So this is getting me 20 clicks for each noob I buy. That's pretty good, huh? Cool. So that works. Only added 2 things today, but that means we have more for later. And I'll have to think of things that I want to add, different features and upgrades, and we can probably spend a while doing content, because content counts, it matters. Of course, when you're still coding the thing, leave content for later, but it's good to have more content. Anyway, yeah. If you just wanted to do mechanics, then you can do that and be like, well, I have one kind of building and one kind of upgrade and whatever. But if you want the program to actually be like impressive in some way, something you can show people, do add content. Like if you're programming an RPG or something and you want it to show people that you've done things rather than just like, I can make an RPG but I can make a good one or something, then do eventually put in content, because it does matter. And make sure everything's proofread, no spelling errors. That counts. That definitely counts. Alright, let me take this out of the way. We didn't need to add anything here. We added some new content with the mobster. We added nothing here. Nothing here. Still the same. Okay. And now here's some stuff that we did change. We added this property for the click strength. And we added this Numberformatter function. It's pretty cool. And it's recursive. So if it ends up again with a number that's still too big, not super likely, I think. But if we had 1 times 10 to the several thousand, 1 times 10 to the 10 to the 308 or something. Anyway, it's possible because we're going to be dealing with big numbers, so we have to keep that in mind. So this is going to be a handy little function over there. Increment. This might have changed the strength. This is now, this is that property that we made. Yes, this is that property. And purchase, I think this is this was unchanged. And update, we now have a strength in the label for the button, not the label for the button, in the text for the button. And did I already mention that we changed increment? No, click strength. We created and modified this from something else, refactor that right out. And the purchase is the same. Update is just, this is different. Format, click strength. I should send that to the formatter, shouldn't I? number formatter click strength. Okay. So that's the click strength. We'll also oh no, that's no, this is for its own thing. That's just the number. Here's what we'll do. Plus, is that right? Text equals this plus the number formatted number. Okay. Number formatter, and that just formats the number. It doesn't have any other text with it. That's all it does. So it's going to click the button, strength is this, plus that. Do we need to do that? Oh, I think either way would be fine. We can go back if we want, it's fine. So this will take the formatted number, it'll just be a string instead, because it'll already have been formatted, and then it'll put it into there. I'm going to just change that back. Click strength plus formatted string, because that returns a string already. I'm just going to add them. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. But keep in mind, we could do either one. We could concatenate the strings or format. But there's no fancy format specifier for this one where we would put it in there, so it doesn't really matter. Didn't change any of this stuff. Didn't change that. Okay. Didn't I wrap something in int? Where do I do click strength? Plus equal click strength. Oh, okay. I have some things wrapped in int. Okay, this works. So label for current click strength and scientific notation for number formatting and extra clicks per click per building. Those are the features that we did today. And next time, an overall click per second multiplier. That'll be an upgrade type of gear. Maybe a periodic upgrade unlocker. I don't know. That one might have to be later. I'll investigate and do some research into investigate and research. That's how thorough I am. I'm gonna look at what else we can put in here. If you have any ideas, then leave a comment and tell me, you know, I want this feature because I want it, and I'll see what I can do. But yeah. That will be probably later this week. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned some interesting stuff. Recursion is fun because recursion is fun. And I'm gonna end the stream, and I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me.